Welcome back to our channel. Thank you. We're always grateful to have you here. Remember to subscribe. We recently did a picking, and so we went back to see what things looked like that. After that, I'll tag the video below in the description. Casualties of picking. You see this? Like a whole tree.
What do you have in your hand, Kai?
Pepper.
In a general sense, we were anticipating that the after effects would have been much greater, but thankfully we didn't have, well, it wasn't as bad as we thought it would have been. Savannah has decided that she's now ready for her debut, and she's determined that she's ready to comment on whatever is happening at the farm. So as you can see, we were barely able to get a word in without her intervening, but you'll see some of her comments later on. More casualties. This gone. This gone. Now look, you see blossoms. So many blossoms. The potential. I see a lot of young ones though. Like over there, sir? See a lot of young ones and a lot of blossoms. So if you recall, in a previous video I'd expressed concern about some of the trees not showing blossoms, and Sheldon was sure that it was because the trees were not ready yet. So doing this walkthrough, we realized that there were a lot of blossoms and a lot of young peppers. So I'm no longer concerned, and I'm happy about that. Like a lot of the trees have a lot of young peppers and blossoms. So far, look at the young peppers. Look at that. And the top full of blossoms. So we're hoping that we'll be able to reap on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and seeing young peppers, and well, peppers at different growth stages or different stages of maturity, and then the blossoms gives us a good projection of what we could get.
So the pepper and the tree, and it is good, but there's no pepper on it. There are only blossoms, and now the leaves are green, and it is pretty. It is very pretty, and it is very good, and now it is good and pretty, and it is pretty, and the leaves are green, not yellow, and it is growing, and all of them are growing. So pepper wheat on it, pepper is already on it to go, and it is very beautiful.
Alright, so another casualty. See?
Okay.
This is broken off and
it is broken
wilting.
And
blossoms
wilting.
all over again.
And blossom all over again. And we lay it down. And we need to talk about some one now.
That was our up-and-coming media personality, Savannah Kai. But all in all, it wasn't bad, and that is something that we are extremely grateful for.
So the planted fig and leaf at the top and blossom right here, blossom all over the plate, and the leaves are green and they are very pretty, and they are good, and they are everything is on it, pepper, leaf, and the blossom, and it is all of those are pretty.
So again, we noticed that there were some branches that were off. There were some young peppers that were off as well, that just fell under the trees. And there were some branches that persons that actually took them and kind of stick them back in the ground. I don't know if they were hoping that they would grow again and everything all would be well. But this is something that we would have planned for. We were aware that these are some of the losses that we would have to bear, but it wasn't as bad as they would have anticipated, and so we're always happy for that. I think the hardest thing we had to accept was the potential that was lost in these branches with these blossoms. Seems as if I was premature in my concerns, because I really am pleased now to see blossoms, the young peppers. We have a lot of young peppers coming, which I think is really good. So yeah. So the field in general is looking good. So what we have to contend with after reaping, we have to contend with some blossoms last. We noticed some blossoms on the ground. We have to contend with young peppers. We noticed some young peppers on the ground, or peppers that weren't extremely young but they weren't ready for the picking. Some of those were on the ground as well. We had to contend with losing some branches from the trees. We lost some very big branches that had peppers on it that we could even reap this coming week. But we're looking ahead, we're looking forward as to what is to come next. We're looking and we're still seeing nice sized peppers. We're seeing some ripe peppers. We're seeing a good amount of ripe peppers in the field. So we're excited to pick again. On a lighter note, we're observing that, if you recall, in this section we had a lot of yellow leaves, but we're seeing now that we no longer have those yellow leaves. A lot of the trees are now mainly green, and the yellow leaves are few. So that is something that we're happy about. We're seeing the progress and seeing the effect of the treatment, which is something to be happy about. So we've realized that the leaves are serving as a sort of shade for the plants. We've lost a lot of plants, a lot of fruits to sunburn. This right here is a branch that was broken off and it had big peppers on it, but we've lost those. But some of these peppers that you're seeing on the ground are some that would have lost to sunburn. The peppers would be on the trees, and then the white spot that you're noticing, they would be scorched by the sun. So that happens to the plants that are the fruits that are exposed directly to the sun. So the ones with the bigger leaves and leaves covering them are better. This right here is a pile of very large fruits that we noticed on the ground. It's like they were picked and left there, and they were burnt by the sun, and there were some of our bigger fruits. That again was hurtful to see, but there's hope. We still have a lot of fruits on the trees, and we still have some beautiful plants. So as we've mentioned in a previous video, we got a 5-acre property to lease, and we will forever be grateful to those landowners for giving us such an opportunity. A part of the property is a gully, so we're not able to plow it, and so we decided to plant some pumpkins and melons and allow them to run into the gully. So we've been seeing a lot of blossoms and a lot of pumpkins and melons.
Daddy, come. Daddy, a pumpkin. A pumpkin, Daddy.
There.
a little one right there, look. What
Yeah.
pumpkin? A pumpkin. Pumpkin. Did it pumpkin?
Yes. All pumpkin.
You thought? So the pumpkin and they didn't go yet, and now they need to keep going, and then they need to keep going, and a little thing need on it.
So the scotch bonnet peppers, now to get to this stage, which is around the 12th week of being in the ground, and that is from planting them at a seedling stage of about 4 to 6 weeks, and they are at 12 weeks in the ground now. We did our first reaping already, and the plants are still looking healthy. I mean, barring the few branches that were broken off during the reaping process, the plants are still looking healthy and strong. Now to get to this stage, we had a robust nutrient plan in terms of the macro and micronutrients that we gave the plants on a weekly basis. As was mentioned by Shanice, this plot benefited from a comprehensive nutrient and pest management program that we have applied here. And the nutrients, at some point during the 12-week period, we sometimes gave the plants up to 70 pounds of fertilizer twice or 2 times per week, and that was significant, and that included nitrogen, urea or green plus, MOP, MAP, calcium nitrate, and we also included fertilizer through the foliar as well, the Bio 20, Calmax B, and that will also help with the overall health and strength of the plant itself. So it's a lot of work, it's a lot of precision and precise planning, and we are here every day just to ensure that the plants are they look right, they feel right, and that the drip system is also working so that we know that the nutrients is being delivered to each plant on a consistent and a uniform basis. So this is it at plot 2.
What about iron and
Yes, within that mix we use iron and zinc
and boron?
and boron, and the high yield package, as in most of those smaller micronutrients. Yeah, started out with around 2 pounds each of the nutrients that I mentioned earlier, and then over the course of the 12-week period, the allotted amount increased from 2 pounds up to 3 pounds, then to 5 pounds, then to 8 pounds, and then at one point we were at 10 pounds each, and then to one point we were at 30 pounds of one of those nutrients that we mentioned twice per week. So you can see the variation as the plants grow over the 12 weeks period. The nutrient plan also grew along with that, and as I said, it's both nutrients through the roots, the drip system, as well as applying it through the leaves as well, and that is like giving the plants enough nutrients then to deal with the issues of pests, fungus, diseases, and with the plastic mulch, reducing the weed around it kind of reduces the chance of introducing pest and fungus at the plot. So the nutrients that we apply through the leaves or the foliar would include Bio 20, Calmax B, Fortify. We use the Maniplex to include the Maniplex for vegetable. Help me.
Iron.
Iron and
Potassium.
potassium and I don't remember the other one.
Phosphorus or something? No.
Remember. But that is also applied on a weekly basis, and that would complement what is applied through the drip system.
Sugar Express and
Yes, so there are also things like
Nutrient
Nutrient Express and Sugar Express that we use once in a while, just to I guess give the plants a variety of nutrients to choose from. Yes, guys. And as Savannah just mentioned, Green Plus. Yes, baby, thank you very much. So that's part of the nitrogen mix that the plants would get as well.
which one is that, Savannah? You want to tell mommy?
Green fruit
Okay.
for the leaves.
Oh, very nice. So all in all, everything is looking lovely. We are happy about how the plot is looking, and we are still hopeful. We are still anticipating great things, and we invite you again to continue to join us on this journey. We're still open to your comments. We've learned a lot from you so far, and looking forward to further partnership. Thank you. Remember to subscribe and like.
Brought to you by Nature Inspired.